Welcome back to RandomRodShop, folks. Well, today we're going to take this crusty 1957 cab that looks like this and turn it into this. Along the way, we're going to find a not so pleasant surprise that's going to take it's going to take a lot of work to get to it. To bring you up to speed on this truck, this is my dad's wheat truck. It went through a couple of river floods. It's been sitting in the pasture for 30 years. We've got it on a new frame, and we're going to make a short wide pickup out of it. All right, let's get into this video. So the first step is drill out all the spot welds across the top of the roof that connected to the eyebrow. Then work your way along the bottom. Try to get this thing out. This is a rusty piece of mess. In a lot of cases, getting the old rusty metal out is most of the time harder than putting the new metal back in. Well, folks, this just turned into a much bigger job. It's not like replacing this eyebrow is easy. Let me show you. See that rust right there? It's on the passenger side, and what that is that's the stiffener plate. All right, this is on the 56 cab, or a piece of a 56 cab. And what we're looking at is this piece right here is all rusted out. So it's spot welded along here, it's spot welded along here, and it's spot welded along here. This side isn't too bad. I think this side can be cleaned up. This side, however, we're going to have to get into that. I can't say I'm not disappointed. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep on cleaning this thing up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fit this eyebrow, because I'd like to get it at least clecoed in or screwed in before I start taking the inside apart. Because right now I still know where that windshield needs to go. Okay, I'm probably not going to film a lot of this, and this is probably going to end up being a short video with a lot of work. Let me get after it. I'll get back to you when I get something cleaned off so we can have a look at it. Thought I'd show you the way, if you're not trying to save anything, right, as is the case on this upper header, I cut between the spot welds. And then go back and clean up the spot welds themselves. That seems to make it a little faster. The first guy I saw do that on YouTube was Fitzy. So if you don't watch him, go have a look. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to it. What you're seeing here, the piece on the right is the piece of the cab corner that I cut out of the 56 piece as a patch panel to fit into the 57. The piece on the left, that is the inner structure, and that was really the big problem with this. There's 3 or 4 pieces welded together, and I kind of salvaged that out of the 56, and it took a while to get that thing fitted and kind of ground and primed and prepped and get it welded in. I ended up having to make another little piece to add to that to actually finish up all of the bracing that was inside there. Here's the finished cab corner. You can see that little bracket hanging down on the bottom there, and yeah, that was a mess. This is the inner panel that I cut off the 56. Now I have put rust preventative and painted it and tried to clean it all up, and it took quite a while to get that thing fitted to put up in the cab, which you can see here. I've got it tacked back up. I've just got it tacked in there at this point. It's been in there a half a dozen times. It's fitted as good as it's going to be fitted, and I've got it welded in. You can tell I definitely do not have it finished welded. This is, I did this before I really fitted this eyebrow. I did the inner so that I could, to best my ability, get where the windshield wraps around in an accurate position. So this is future me. I was editing the video and man, I forgot to talk about this eyebrow here. So putting this one-piece eyebrow in turned out to be a major task. Problem is the eyebrow goes ahead and wraps around on both sides. You've got these cab corners. There's a big support here on the cabs, and we saw that. That's part of the rust I had to fix. But trying to put this eyebrow in with this big brace on both sides, very reminiscent of trying to put a square peg in a round hole. My idea was to get the eyebrow fitted, take it back out, and get everything prepped. But I got to tell you, by the time I wallowed that eyebrow in there, I had no desire to take it back out. It was a chore to get that eyebrow in there, and quite honestly, even in hindsight, I'm not sure how this eyebrow goes in here in one piece if you have to use the entire eyebrow, because there's really no good way to get it in, to slide it in from the back. So I ended up having to do a lot of twisting and bending. It was definitely an interesting puzzle. So when I got that in, I didn't take it back out, which is why I didn't get any filming on it. I thought I'd film putting it back in, everything fitting. That's not the way it worked. All right, back to the video. Okay, so I'm plug welding the eyebrow, and it occurred to me that maybe you've been faced with this situation. So you can't get from the back side to hold it down, and the screw holes, it's used metal. I put screws back in the plug weld holes. But sometimes when you pull a screw out here to weld, it comes back out. So I actually drill another, which is what that screw is right there. Right, I drilled an 1/8 inch hole, put a screw in, then I pull this out and plug weld it. Then you can pull that out, and then you got an 1/8 inch hole there. It's kind of trivial to weld back up. Anyway, I'm gonna keep on. Okay, well, the first grinding is done. I've got them all welded up. I don't know about you, but I got to go over it a couple of times. One more pass, maybe two, and get it ground down, and then I'll get back with you. Well, folks, I can tell you I got a lot of hours into this. That was a lot of work. I'm gonna take the camera down, I'm gonna show you, and without any stretch of the imagination, I'm not done sanding and grinding on this thing, and I'm sure there's still some spots I'm gonna have to weld back up. But I'm already 2 days late on this video, and it's gonna have to be what it's gonna be. So let me get the camera down and let me show you. All right, so I've got it all welded in on the sides. It's spot welded here. I've got it spot welded up there. I think it turned out, near as I can tell, it turned out pretty straight. If I kind of look down the eyebrow, remember we had the dent up here where I hit it with a loader, and you can still see a few traces of primer, right? So I've done quite a bit of work on this dent up here, but I think I got it pretty good. They're just still slight traces of primer up there, but I think for us that's going to be good enough. Inside, I've got it spot welded along the bottom. Went back and welded all of this back up. Again, like I said, I've still got some grinding to do. The welds are still high, but it's all in there, and it seems to fit pretty good. And that side turned out pretty good. If you remember, had to cut this all out, so pretty happy with the way that fits back in here. And you can see I still got some welding to do on this and clean up. But all in all, I am pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think that's going to turn out all right. The next step is, I'm a glutton for punishment. The next step is I'm gonna bring in that 67 and we're gonna do the eyebrow on that. The good news is I have all new, for the 67 I bought all the patch panels. I went to LMC, in Kansas City, and I bought all the patch panels. So I've got the eyebrow, all the new sheet metal for that. We'll see if that works out a little easier. But after going through this one I'm gonna finish the eyebrows. Then we can basically flip both cabs over and we'll work on all the cab braces and the cab corners. Ironically, the 57, I don't think the rockers on the 57 are as bad, but the cab mounts and, rockers, cab corners, pieces of floorboard, so they gotta be patched the same. It's gonna be interesting in that, I guess the reason I wanna do these together is like I said, I bought all the patch panels for the 67. So I don't think I'm gonna have to make anything for it. If it is, it's very minor. For the 57, I've got cab corners. Other than that, we're gonna make all the any patches we need, we're gonna make the patches for the 57. So my idea is to do them kind of in tandem and just to see how the two processes go. I definitely gonna make some sort of carts or something. Moving this thing around, and you saw it a couple of videos ago, it may be a little tipsy. I appreciate you folks for watching. If you're interested in what we do, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell. Leave a comment. Tell me about your projects, or likes or dislikes about what we got going on. And until next time, I'm RandomRodShop, and I'm out of here.